Hey guys, it's Brandon, your partner for all things real estate, and for the first time in roughly the last, I would say, 5 years, we're starting to see signs of the market slowing down. Now, what does that mean? Well, for the last 5 years, as most of you know, we've been in very much so a seller's market. What does that mean? What does a seller's market mean? That means that there are much more buyers that are available in the marketplace than there are homes available. As essentially, from a high level, that's what it means to be in a seller's market. Well, for the first time, really in the last 5 years, we're starting to see it take a little bit longer for homes to sell. Whereas for the past 5 years, as most of you have heard, and for those of you that have either sold a house or purchased a house in the last 5 years, you would agree that the market was extremely hot, meaning that anytime a good home hit the market, that it was selling within the first couple of days with multiple offers, and you've got buyers getting into these bidding wars and paying very high prices for homes. Now, what has happened, and there's a lot of reasons that are causing this slowdown in the marketplace, but one of the biggest things, in my opinion, that's causing the market to slow down just a little bit is the uptick in interest rates. So that little small rise in interest rates over the past couple of months has really slowed down and shrunk the buyer pool. So now what we have is all of these homes that are still hitting the market. We still have an inventory shortage, meaning that there are still more buyers than there are homes available, but that gap is shrinking. And so what does all this mean? When I say for the first time in 5 years, we're starting to see the market slow down, what that means for you, if you're a seller, that your expectations should be different. And that expectation should now be, if you're going to be selling your home later this year or this summer still or in the fall of 2018, that your expectations should be that it's not going to sell maybe in the first 24 hours. That it may take a little bit longer of a period of time for that property to sell. That could happen. Another thing from an expectation standpoint, if you're thinking about selling your home, is that maybe you don't get the price that you maybe could have last year, where you're shooting really for the stars, where last year and the year before, a seller could really put their house on the market for any price, and there was a good chance a buyer would pay that price. Well, in this market right now, we're halfway through 2018, where we're seeing the market soften a little bit. Things are starting to slow down a little bit. We've got to be a little bit more aggressive when it comes to pricing your home, where we've got to be more in line with what we call market value. Market value, simply put, is all of the comparable homes that have sold in the last 6 to 12 months and how those things compare to your property gives us, real estate agents and appraisers, what we call market value. So we're going to start to see homes sell for closer to that number versus over that number. We're going to see it take a little bit longer for these homes to sell than in recent years. And if you're a buyer, maybe for the first time in the last 5 years, maybe some of that frustration of losing out in bidding wars, losing out on homes that you wanted to get, maybe for the first time you're going to have a chance to get in there, get the house that you absolutely love, and maybe there's a slight chance that you can negotiate just a tad with the seller, whereas before you were giving the seller anything and all things that they wanted. So hopefully that helps you, provide you some value as to what's really happening in the marketplace. Like always, if you're thinking about buying or selling, reach out to me. Worst case scenario, we do a valuation on your property to see what it would sell for in today's market. We walk through that option together, and then from there you can decide what makes the most sense. But like always, I appreciate your support. I appreciate you watching, and we'll see you guys next week.